Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. I'm AC Gamer,
I'm Chupacabra.
and we are over in Eastern Commons, guys, and we're doing a little bit of a duo action. If you guys missed the last episode, I am playing my Necromancer, which was supposed to be solo, but we want to try a little bit of the duo and see how well that works. And not a Shadow Knight, a Necro and a Rogue seem to be a good combination. I could definitely see the potential of these two characters to grow together and be able to take on some really tough areas. Now, do you think this duo would be good if fear wasn't a thing? Like if we weren't able, if we didn't have the space in a zone to be able to fear kite it, would my pet be able to taunt it enough with your evasion at higher levels it gets even better for you so you could do some backstabs every so often?
I think it'll be rough because the way the game is scripted, if a player character is close to a mob, it will ignore the pet.
That's true, but if you are, say, sneaking, can you walk up to something that you already had attacked in the past and backstab it if it forgot about you?
You have to evade and hope that it works.
So if those
Like
two go off,
I just tried evade right there and it didn't work. So
because I think we could get some of those snare or root webs or whatever you call them from Crystal Caverns. Maybe we could put that on the mob, or I get root later on, I think, as well. So I could
yeah,
root
you do
the
that
mob,
34.
and you could kind of back off, let the pet do some damage or take some damage, and then you can kind of sneak your way in if the invasion goes
Yeah,
off.
that's very possible. Yeah, if the evade works, that's very doable.
And your backstab right now is amazing. Like it's doing like 30% life. I don't think it does that much at a higher level unless you have some like really amazing weapons, right?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, granted, for the level of these mobs, I'm hitting them for 84 right now on backstabs. I think that's the highest that I've gotten thus far. I've gotten a couple of hundreds before, but today it's just not working out for me.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, like right now, I just backstabbed this dude for 84, and that's 20% of his health.
Now, I have seen rogues do about 20% health on a level 60, but that's not common, and I think they have to be humanoid for you to use the assassination skill.
I think they have to be humanoids, and they have to be a certain level. I think they have to be
46 or something, yeah.
Yeah, is it lower than 46, something like that?
Wow, he actually resisted my engulfing darkness. These guys...
You guys suck.
Right. Anytime my spells get resisted, kind of gives me flashbacks of playing my wizard. For those of you who have never played a wizard before, they are amazing. They're really, really great when they are full mana and they're able to blast an enemy that doesn't resist them. It really kind of slows down a lot and becomes very frustrating when you're in a group, mainly for the fact that my mana doesn't go up nearly fast enough on a wizard. It takes something like 20%, even with all the equipment that I have on them, to cast one of my spells. And I can med an entire fight, because the fights don't last very long, and do one spell during that entire fight. And if it gets resisted, you just feel like you wasted the entire fight doing nothing. You added nothing to that group. No melee, no buffs, no heals. Just a wasted spell that didn't take hold on the enemy. And yeah, kind of get that flashback with my Necromancer when he gets resisted, because it sucks. You know, it doesn't take him nearly as long. He has a lot more options. That Dark Pact is by far one of my favorite spells. I can't believe I wasn't using it for so long. I had no idea what it did. That was a very, very big no-no in my book, guys. If you are playing a Necromancer, learn that spell beyond any other one, just because it shortens your downtime and makes you so much more efficient. And I think
You're gonna love it when you reach 20 and you can click on that book.
yeah. Well, you know, the one thing I'm kind of dreading, though, is higher level. Because you guys get some of those spells, especially the one that turns you into a skeleton, where I've seen and I've heard even more stories of people literally killing themselves with that. And I'm very forgetful sometimes. I have a little oversight, and I know it's going to happen to me. Like, I just know I'm going to kill myself with that spell at some point in the future, and I'm going to feel so stupid for doing it, but like it's going to be a thing. So I'm just kind of preparing myself for it mentally and getting ready for the day where I'm just, feeling so embarrassed that I actually did that. And I'll join the club of so many others.
Well, I think honestly it's the rite of passage. You got to do it at least once.
Right. Especially when you go AFK, because it's like any other tune, you can like feign death and walk away, but Like that spell that turns you into a skeleton, it lasts a long time, right?
At 20 plus minutes at least, maybe 30.
Yeah, so like you're gonna be I cast it every once in a while. Oh, here we go. We got another ad, I think maybe. Yep. Yeah, you're gonna be like, I gotta go AFK for a few minutes, and you come back, and you know your corpse is actually a corpse now. Let's get some siphon life on these guys. Now I'm close to full mana. We could take on another evil eye if you see him out there.
If we haven't seen one, I'll let you know and check your status.
I think it would be pushy. I think this time I'll be a little bit more efficient with it because the last time I used a dot instead of my snare on the pet, and he resisted my fear a few times. So I'm kind of curious are they more magic resistant, or was that just the random encounter luck of taking on any mob that could on occasion resist your fear?
I think they are a little bit more magic resistant. I don't know what would make it magic resistant other than the fact that the EE is a enchanter and the pet is, magical. It kind of makes sense in a way, but it kind of sucks because you don't get that as with your enchanter and stuff.
No. Well, you can though, right? Like you can make them less magic resistant if you want your pet to not break root as often.
Yeah, you could do all sorts of different things.
Or not root, charm, I should say.
Yeah, charm, to shine and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, and you can give them items. Like I see, that's a pretty big thing.
Yes, the rusty, rusty spiked shoulders, I think, from Blackborough. The ring from, I can't remember what the ring is, but it's got like 10, minus 10 magic resist as well.
Isn't that one from the? It's not from the Gold and Afridi room, right? It's
I don't think it's that one. I think there's another one. I
think it actually might be from the Gold and Afridi one.
Go to the Afridi one.
Gives you hit points, but it also gives you negative 10 magic resist.
Is it that one?
I think so, because I have that one on my warrior.
Yeah, Film's got it as well. I can't remember what the stats are. I think it's got agility, hit points, and something else. It might be the 10 magic resist, like you said.
It's kind of nice, but doesn't that also work in your disadvantage? Because now the mob that you have as your pet is more susceptible to the enemy's spells.
Yeah, but the whole point of doing it is so that way your charm lasts longer, because you're debuffing and slowing the other mob anyways, so your pet's gonna just wreck through it.
That's true. I never really see Nibers has too much of an issue with it.
Nah, I don't think it's that much of a problem. He's got dude, Nibers has got
so much
thousands of platinum invested in just a pet.
He lost 15K one day.
Yeah, and he just laughed it off. Oh, I'll get it back. I'm like, you're fucking nuts, dude. I'm sorry.
I don't know if he laughed it off. Like, I think he was a little bit peeved, but I think he wasn't like devastated like I would have been if I had lost.
And yeah, I don't mean laughed it off like literally just ha ha ha. I'll be okay. Right. But if it were me, I might lose like money in real life because I'll need a new monitor or something. I don't know. At least a keyboard.
Especially because he warned the cleric, like, hey, my pet's low on life.
No, it's good.
Yeah, he even made the comment. He's like, I should have just broke the charm so the pet was no longer a pet anymore and the mob wouldn't have died. And, I could have come back and get my stuff off of him later. But, he was, I guess, a little bit more trusting at that point. He wasn't willing to, just be like, oh, you're not doing your job, so I'm not even going to let you give it a shot.
Yeah. He got into a comfort zone because he had grouped with other clerics before, and I guess this is the first time he grouped with this cleric, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I remember talking to him about it, and I think that's exactly what it was. He was just trusting because of other clerics and stuff like that. And hey, bro, lessons learned, right?
Yeah, because I know anytime he groups with me, he doesn't normally give items to the pets. And I think it's a good motto not to do that when I'm in a group, because I'll get distracted by the commentary.
Stuff going on. Yeah, you got stuff going on. So it's for me. I wouldn't do it either if it were me healing you, because I got 3 little ones running around.
Right. Well, anytime he's ever done it, like he's done it a couple times in Chardek, and anytime he ever does it, I am super you know, cautious and like I don't like. I think we did one video in there, and I spent like 10 minutes saying, "Don't let his pet die," again and again and again,
Yeah.
just because of how much money is on that thing and how embarrassed I would feel if he actually lost all that. And it came really close to him dying a couple times in there, just because I was not paying attention, even after making that long speech. So, you
What's
know,
that? You get hyper.
I get tunnel vision a
Can't
lot
think
when I
of-
do the videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of the term. Like your awareness factors, like dial up to 10 whenever something like that is involved.
I try
Like if
to.
we're going
Yeah.
after, Avatar War, when I was an anonymous with Athalar and we went after Avatar War with, I think we duoed up with Russell. We teamed up with them. Dude, I was on edge because I had a true job, not just mod rods. I had to call the hero the tank when I was told to do it at a certain point.
That's because they were falling or something.
Well, no, the tanks. What happens is they pin Avatar War. They put the tank in the corner, and Avatar War is smashed on his face, basically, like his kneecap is in his face.
Right.
And what happens is Avatar War hits so hard, and the fight lasts for a good decent amount of time. The tanks will do the defensive, which lasts however long. As defensive is wearing off, the tank will ask for a call of the hero, so that way once defensive is done, if you do it the right timing, call of the hero will hit, and the next tank will then dump a mallet on him to get aggro, and then he pops his defensive. Right, so we cycle through tanks that way.
I hadn't actually seen anybody do it that way. I've seen the other method, which is a lot sloppier, where the tank just dies and immediately gets a res and then gets buffed up again. But I kind of like that idea because you don't have to rebuff him.
Well, when you have res effects and you're getting rebuffed, you can't get certain things done to you.
No. Well, and even if you have all those buffs on, you're still not going to take the damage you normally would have.
Right. So I mean, it's just a lot easier and smoother to transition because when all that stuff happens, people should be watching their aggro. Basically, no backstabs are happening. No other disciplines are happening. It's a clean cough and a clean mallet transfer. So that way, whoever number 2 is, basically the ramp tank, takes over and somebody else takes over ramp.
That's when you know you got a lot of people who have played a decent amount of time, have gotten down to a system that works for them, and they're paying attention. Because I've seen so many raids that wouldn't be able to do like 1/5 of what you're talking about, let alone back off like every minute and a half to allow the tank to be able to get it. So many times we go to these pickup raids, and we can't even get them to get aggro immediately or at all, just once.
It's bubble wrap damage is what I call it.
Right, it's crazy.
You just wrap your face in bubble wrap and start smashing your keyboard. I got it.
I mean, I don't talk bad about anybody not being able to do it, because we are, or I should speak for myself, very much on the noobish side of raiding. I do kind of have a little bit of experience with it from back when, where I used to do a lot more hardcore, but it's been so many years, like I've forgotten most of that information. And the skill level is something you definitely do have to learn, and you got to be aware of each mob's different system of fighting, because everybody has a different way of fighting different mobs. Just like you said with that Avatar War, that's the way you guys do it. I've seen the other guys do it a different way, and you got to work within your guild. Like whatever they prefer is the way you gotta kind of have to set your guy up.
I mean, even with other mobs like what's his face, Velk. Anonymous did it differently than the guild that I'm currently in, which is Azure Guard. They do it completely different. One way is faster and probably a little bit more efficient, and the other way is
Easier.
It's no, I wouldn't say easier. It's supposed to be cautious and a little more. It's more time consuming for sure, because you're fighting your way up, right? I don't know if it's cautious, because some people just literally run up the ramp and go. And if anybody's been in Velks, they know those ramps are slippery.
Yeah.
So if you're not paying attention, you're falling through the hole, you're pulling more spiders, you're doing something, you're going to kill people. And that's what was happening. Some people just weren't being cautious enough. And, bro, it's pretty bad when you train your own guild and you get people killed.
It's a pretty sucky feeling, because these are not people that you're just kind of meeting here and there. Like
No.
they're going to remember it, and you'd be surprised, like 4 years down the road, if you're still playing with these guys, they're still making fun of you because of that one time you jumped off of the ramp and anytime a similar situation kind of pops up, like you're the guy, they're like, hey, remember, don't do what you did last time.
Dude, it was terrible. One dude, they were like, all right, you stay here, group with the mage, we'll cough you up.
Like they put you on, the baby bus because of like the mistake you made like a year and a half ago.
It's hilarious, dude. I'm sorry, that was funny.
But it's kind of one of those things where it's funny, like you said, but it's also kind of necessary because it shows other people like this is what's going to happen to you if you make that same mistake. So don't make it.
Yeah. Don't be that guy.
I think everybody's that guy at some point, but
man, Soul is so nice. It really is.
I know. Like I never really had to worry about it on my cleric. Like he sits on his butt 99% of the time, and the extra 1%, usually I'm being carried by Thum over his shoulder to the next spot. But yeah, with this guy, like I want Spirit of Wolf. Like he needs it.
We gotta go get some J boots, man. At some point.
I don't know. I've thought about maybe camping in the spot, but I hear it's really contested. A lot of people
stand up. I'm gonna get the one behind you. There's one. Oh, actually, we should be good. We should be good.
I don't think he's coming.
Okay, good. Yeah.
We might get him though as he runs by. A little close. But yeah, I hear it's really contested. A lot of people kind of waiting in line to get that spawn.
Yeah, the one in OOT, it is. You have to hit it at a certain time, like late night. It's easier, I think, especially if you got something else you can do on another screen, or if you got another game you can play, or for you doing videos, whatever the case is, you can just park a tune there, leave him logged on while you're doing whatever else, and just watch your chat. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can talk in random conversations with probably the best of them out there, but I don't know if I could do like a 20-30 minute episode of one fight and make that interesting in some way. Like it would just be me waiting. Like, that would be a little ridiculous to do those videos, but I might show it once just to kind of show people the spawn, because I'm sure there's people out there who have never camped that guy, and they hear about him, and they're just kind of curious as to how hard he is, what does he look like, what's the actual LOC, kind of those kind of questions.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do a video on it. Like you said, I mean, just showing the area and stuff like that first, but when you're actually camping it, I mean, you got other videos or games to take care of, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And you can run it on one of your other 14 monitors.
I'm actually only on 6. I did lose my main monitor a while back. I don't know if some of you guys out there were watching, but I think I was on a stream where we were playing the game, and the main monitor that I had was the only full screen one, or the widescreen I have. The other ones were full screen. So the widescreen one that I had started to smoke, or at least I could smell smoke coming out of it. And the monitor went dark, and then it slowly tinted back on and became fully lit. And I counted myself lucky that it didn't go out.
That was like
then
4 months ago?
Yeah, a little bit. And then the other day, getting ready to group up with Cypher and do some videos, and it just completely went out on me. So I had to order a new one. I went ahead and got 2 because I'm ridiculous. But I like the way this one looks. The color is a little different. Now, with my cleric, I always thought the armor he was wearing was pink, because that's what it looked like on my monitor. All the other colors look perfect. It's just the shades on that monitor.
Like a purplish?
Yeah, it does look a lot more purple on this new monitor than it ever looked on my old one. So, just kind of weird.
It kind of matches the same color as when you link an item in chat.
Yeah. There's a little bit more purple with this monitor than that pinkish kind of thing. But I think there's a little bit more purple in that armor because of his sleeves. Like the breastplates tend to incorporate a little bit of the surrounding armor color-wise, and he has the sleeves from, I believe, Hate. So like that's kind of being incorporated a little bit into it, I think, and making it a little bit more purple than maybe it would be otherwise. But it's definitely not pink like it was on the last one.
No, yeah. This is like stupid experience, bro.
Right? It's really nice, and it's super easy on me because I'm being lazy, and I know I'm going to get comments where people are like, you're not even like participating in the fight. I'm casting maybe a dot every once in a while, and most of the time not even that, because you're killing them so quick, it's a waste of mana to throw anything on them. Like my dot's only going to do 2 ticks and then it's dead, so...
One thing you got to do is keep your dark pact on and make sure your health is still good and you're golden. I think at this level, even when you sit down with dark pact, I don't think you lose any health still with dark pact.
I don't think so, not yet. The only time I ever saw that to be a thing was when I had rabies. Like, your rabies doesn't let your health regenerate, and it's just kind of...
You lose 2 ticks or something like that, I think.
I know you actually don't lose any life with rabies, as far as I could tell.
No,
you just don't regenerate.
Yeah, you don't lose any life. You just lose 2 ticks of regeneration.
Which I think is
why an Ixar still will regenerate, and the Troll will too, but they regenerate way slower.
Dark Elf doesn't regenerate at all. It kept me at nil, so I was just like, I wouldn't lose life, but I wouldn't gain it, and that sucked a lot. It definitely impacted the mana-wise. And I think it lasts for an hour. You know, that is horrible.
It feels like forever.
An hour is a long time, dude. That's a decent amount of groupage over an Oasis. Some of those groups don't even last for like 30 minutes, so you might be able to go through 2 groups in that amount of time before you get that thing cured on you.
Werewolf. I want to bring him in too.
A werewolf? Sweet.
War.
No werewolves out here? I know they're in some zones.
There are. I think there's one that roams at night.
Level 35 usually is what they were over in the Commons. I don't know if they're the same over here or not.
I don't think he's that high. I honestly, I don't really remember. I just know that every so often I would come through here and kill them for their pelts and go do the werewolf hide cloak quest, or try to anyways.
Over in Everfrost?
Yeah. That was one of my moneymakers when I first started playing on the server. Once Athlar was high enough to do that, I just went and got every single werewolf pelt that I could.
Now, do you have a good spot to make money that you did early on? Maybe not something you want to give away that you still do today, so you don't want that competition, but something that maybe a low-level toon just starting out who's kind of trying to afford his next-level spells, especially for like enchanters and mages. The amount of money you spend on your spells for those 2 classes is outrageous.
Honestly, what I did was items. You got a Gore Town coming toward you from your left. What I did growing up with my mage was trade skill items and or items that are used by characters, bone chips specifically. I mean, bone chips, silk, and pelts.
Those are definitely a safe bet.
What I should have done, and this is a good moneymaker for folks that are thinking about doing it right now, leather padding sells really good.
See, that's something I missed when I was doing my skills, and I'm kind of regretful that I did that. I did not know that you could use regular pelts, like you get, the crappy ones, the ruined ones.
Ruined pelts, yep.
Yeah, to make the leather padding. I always just wanted the high-quality ones, but holy crap.
Run or flop.
There we go. It actually worked.
There you go. That one worked. And that other Gorge Hound is chilling. So, I was going to say stand up so you can get experience. My bad.
I got experience anyway.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe it's because of a group thing. Yeah, it's because of the group.
So I wouldn't get experience if I was soloing it and I was Fane?
You still might because your pet's actually fighting it. I didn't think about that.
Jeez, that's close. I get the sensation that I'm Uber because I'm grouped with somebody right now that is just kicking some butt. But it's so easy to forget that you're playing a cloth class that can't take hits at all, ever.
You're mortal.
And I'm so close to leveling, too. I think maybe 1-2 more kills and I'll be there. But this guy's pretty outfitted. You would think he'd be able to tank a little bit better, but that's just not going to be a thing with this guy.
Nah, bro. It's just the nature of the beast for any cloth wearer. Int casters, no matter how geared out you are, you're going to get face lapped in. Glass cannons, bro, I'm telling you.
Wizard for sure is a glass cannon.
Athlar died in Lower Guck at Ass Up room.
Well, see, I can believe that. My cleric wouldn't be really able to solo anything in there efficiently without the fact that he has lulls. Without that, breaking a room with a cleric would be almost impossible.
I was pissed.
You don't have your epic pet yet. Like, if you had that, I think there would be very little things in that zone that would be able to kill you.
Nah, honestly, it was a bad break. The pathing in that area, the pet doesn't like ladders, period.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when I targeted the mob and I sent the pet in, I mistakenly went up with it at the same time, thinking that he was in front of me, and he warped through the wall and went downstairs. So I was like, oh, crap.
He's not the only one that doesn't like ladders in that zone. I remember my ogre trying to go through those things, and he's so big You would think he wouldn't have a problem, you know, like he'd be able to grab onto that. Now he'd get stuck all the time. Like these little glitches, and you couldn't even get off. You had to rewind yourself.
You just need to hang out with Sequoia more often.
Can you imagine a little doll of the ogre climbing up those stairs? He'd have to hop.
Give me a boost.
Level 18, baby. So yeah, we're 2 levels away from being able to use that clicky.
Nice.
Let's see, what is my pet con to me now? He's still blue, so I had a pretty good pet.
So you almost got a full level already.
I was at 40%, I think, when we came in. So.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, and then I died once, and that was about a bubble.
Okay.
But yeah, I've gotten a good 4 bubbles since we've been here.
I dinged. That was at I think 89% when we first started, and I'm at 83% right now.
Yeah.
So I dinged, and I'm almost, you know, a level away from where I started.
And what level were you?
So I was 16. I'm 17 right now.
Okay,
about to be 18 here shortly.
That's why you gained a little bit more experience than I did, because you were a little lower. But
just a little bit, yeah.
Level difference between us isn't that bad, so I think we're both getting about even on the actual experience cut. Yeah,
we definitely were until right now. You'll get a little bit more
until you get that next level, but you're close.
Yeah.
And this spot, though, as great as it is, probably only for duoing or grouping. I don't see myself soloing this many mobs with this many ads.
Oh, dude, I plan on bringing my enchanter over here. Once I get into him, I got a couple of more things I got to move over to him though.
Have you seen the videos of Super Bits and Bob when he's doing his soloing with his enchanter?
No, I haven't watched his channel in a while actually, because he's playing on Agnar or is he playing back on P99?
No, he only did a couple of videos on Agnar. He tried it out, you know.
He wasn't crazy about it, right?
Yeah, like he didn't really like the fact that they changed the looks of the zones. I thought it was cool to see. I probably wouldn't have liked to play there with the changes, but I thought the zone revamps were interesting. You know, at the very least.
I started playing a little bit this week actually.
On Agnar?
Yeah, I got a mage that I started over there. Because I spend so much time in the tunnels, and when I'm doing that, and there's nothing crazy going on, I just log on over there and sit down and do what I got to do, kill a few things here and there. It's very low stress because the pet changes are easier. You don't have to worry about summoning the pet all the time. So I summon one pet and I go. Mm-hmm. I don't worry about it too much. But he's like level 3, I think, right now.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of videos of people who have played over there, and everybody seems to agree, especially if you got in there day one when it first came out. A lot of people were like, that's exciting. Kind of brought them back to the original days when they first started playing Everquest, because everybody was brand new. Like everybody was even level. Nobody had any advantage over anybody else, and all the zones were kind of packed, and you had that unique feel all over again. But as they've gotten up in higher levels, one of the main complaint that I keep hearing is the ability to jump from zone to zone to zone to pick zones, and people steal each other's mobs. There is no enforcement whatsoever of play nice policy. That is not a thing on that server. I don't think it's a thing on live at all. I don't think
no.
Daybreak Games has that anymore.
They don't. I don't think they have the staffing to really pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Which is a shame, because if you do not have a pleasant environment for people to be able to group in, then you're going to lose people, and they probably are losing a lot of people because of that.
Yeah, one of two things is going to happen. It's going to be like crazy toxic, or people are going to leave because that's not what they came for. They came for a lot of the folks went to that server to get that feel of this is going to be classic. It's going to be the quote unquote the best era of EQ, just beyond pop.
With all the amenities of current Everquest. I think that's what a lot of people were looking for too.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about some of the stuff for current Everquest. The loot system bothers me a little bit, but it's not horrible once you get to learn how it really works.
It scares me a little bit. Like I've seen people go through it and they're like so many different settings. Like you got to sit there for like an hour and a half to get everything down the way you want it.
There are a lot of settings, but once you start getting things like right now, I'm looting everything because I am flat broke.
Right.
The heat, Richard gave me 10 plat to start with, and I didn't know about some of the changes. I went to go buy Malachites for my pet, and I did, like on P99, you hold shift down and you go buy, you shift click it, it's a stack of 20.
Right.
On live, apparently, gems can
So
stack
100.
up to 100.
Yeah, yeah. They went to 100. I think in Planes of Power.
So there goes
Like 10
six
plat.
plat, six plat right there.
But you got 100, so you probably will never need another pet.
Yeah, but now I can't freaking get my spells.
Right.
Oh, dude, I was livid. I did it. And I was like, it's not even worth trying to sell it back.
No, you make so little. I think almost 40% less than when you bought it, or at least that's the way it is on
Yeah,
this one.
it ain't great. I can tell you that much. I was pissed, dude. But there's certain quality of life things that I either forgot or didn't see, and that's one of them.
It definitely is a quality of life thing for those that need like bone ships, or even people who are trying to make money by selling stacks of
Food.
like well, not just food, but spider silk, anything that stacks.
Yeah. But I'm saying even food, one of those things that takes up. I mean, look at Demiro. How many times have you gone through and you just have stack upon stack upon stack of food and water that you carry with you?
Oh yeah, I usually keep a backpack.
Yeah, so you could do that with just 2 slots.
I like that. I also kind of liked the key ring in certain aspects. And two, I started seeing that it made things a little too easy. It was a snowball effect. Too easy here, too easy there, too easy there. Eventually, it became too easy everywhere. And
It was a lot of quality of life things. I mean, honestly, the keyring thing was truly a quality of life because the bags in the game, they were rare and or very expensive. Like the Leatherfoot haversacks, right? It was the first craftable bag that was 100% weight reduction, but it took several blue diamonds to make.
And see, I don't mind that. I like where you get to the point where you feel like you've earned it because you were without it for so long. And a lot of games, they don't even let you go without it for so long. They're just kind of like, here you go. We realize it's something that everybody wants. We're just going to give it to you, and everybody gets it.
And the haversacks were only makeable by halfling tailors, by the way.
And the keyring was a thing that you could do for a quest. You actually had to go off and do this big, long, drawn out, almost epic size quest to get all your all your keys on that keyring. And like each different key was a different quest that you had to do to put it on there. So you earned that too. But then they took that out and they were just like, oh no, all the keys are going to be
everybody gets keys. Yeah.
And I think the only reason they even introduced the key ring not to make things easier on people, because once Planes of Power came out and you started doing...
You had keys everywhere.
Yeah, there was one zone I think had 15 keys all by itself, which was cool, but like that's a lot of freaking keys. You can't carry that many.
Yeah, once you got into the different planes and Planes of Power,
I think it was Planes of Tactics or something.
Tactics?
One of them was, I think, like it had keys in that zone for sure, but...
Yeah, there were just too many effing keys. So, what the...
What's up?
On my screen, the wolf is running up the
oh, no, he's fighting my
hill. Yeah, I just saw it on my screen. It warped up the hill like he just kept running.
They do seem to be warping a little bit in this region. When we first got over here, there was a hound that looked like it was just sitting there, and then it jumped like 10 feet away, and then you were like, oh no, it's glitched out over here, and it actually was still like legitly there.
Then it bit me in the ass.
You were ready for it though. I think you could handle that one.
I was. I'm wearing chain.
But yeah, those quality of life things like the maps, they took a little bit away from the game, because as it stands right now, for me personally, again, this is just my personal opinion, but for games that do not have maps, I tend to force myself, because I have no other choice, to memorize the landscape. I'll memorize, at this big tree, I got to take a left. I go down the road, it curves off, some splits up, I take a left or a right at this split, and then I'll go down a certain amount of way, and I'll, go at the rock, or whatever the case may be. When I have a map, I tend to just look at the map. I don't know if that's the same with you.
I tend to memorize maps as well, but what I do for maps is I tend to memorize where the zone ends are, or the key points that I need to get to, and I make beelines. I don't use land nav very much.
But you don't even have to look at the map that you're running across, because you're just looking at the little mini map in the corner.
Yeah, I try not to use that map as much as possible in the game.
The mini map or the big one?
The big, either one. Like if for Everquest specifically, like live, obviously you have maps, I try not to use the maps. In certain zones I do, because especially, I mean, we just talked about a lot of the zones got revamped and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those, I'll just check to see how the zone layout is. But I try my best not to use the actual maps.
I don't think most people even try themselves to not do it because it's there. You know, why not use it?
Yeah,
and you
they
get
use like
accustomed
crazy.
to it being there.
Maps, find, the find function.
Right. But like when this game first came out, one of the biggest things that was just epic because no other game had really ever done it is the exploration of zones. You did not know where the next zone line was. Was there another zone? Like how many zone lines were in there? Was there a dungeon maybe hidden in some kind of rock that you had to move like over in the hole? I remember the hole was not a zone that people found immediately. It was something that people were kind of talking about. Oh, look, there seems to be something behind it. How do we open it up? Oh, look, it needs a key. Maybe we can pick lock it, And there was a lot of buzz and conversation around, a new area that was found. Like it was epic because you found a zone line. You don't really have that when you have a map.
Nope.
So
you're right. And I mean, granted, when we first started playing the game back then, EQ Atlas, dude, whoever invented that, thank you.
Yes,
bro. Because
even with that though, it wasn't like a straight up like, oh, I look at the map, oh, I can just go straight across the zone. No, there was mountains that weren't on that map. There was mobs that didn't show you on that
all
map.
Sorts of stuff. Yeah, there's also stuff that those maps don't show you, and it was still exploration, right?
Yeah.
What's the safest route or what's the quickest route, whatever the case is, and. The thing is, though, you didn't have live feedback like you do with the current map system in live game.
Right.
Because in live game, you have a marker for you, and then the map is, overlaid over that, and you can see where you're pointed towards, where you're going. When everybody and their mother was wasting ink cartridges left and right, printing out maps from EQ Atlas and putting them in a binder.
I know I did.
You were spamming that load button.
But even if you did.
Where am I?
The locations on these giant maps, like in the Karana, South Karanas is a prime example. It's a giant square. There's nothing fancy about the shape of that zone. However, if you're running anywhere in the middle of that zone and you're trying to find your exact location, good luck, because the squares between the LOCs are massive. And that zone
there's no effing landmarks either.
Well, not really. There's a few.
Every tree looks the same as the other tree on top of the hill.
Well, they pretty much are the same graphic tree. So
you see, I'm getting at though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, where am I at? Where's the Centaur Village? Should it be here? No, it's way over there.
But if you go through that zone enough, you can really kind of figure out like the direction you need to head from the Centaur Village to the next set of landmarks. And if you went over to like Split Paw, if you go down a certain way, you can get over to KC. But there's still that mystery.
Yeah, and you get timing down too. It's like, okay, I should be seeing it here shortly and veering off to this direction, blah, blah, blah.
Unless you got Spirit of Wolf, and then that throws your timing off dramatically, and you may like skyrocket past your goal and just be like, oh my god, where am I? Because I've done that so many times. Like, Spirit of Wolf is not something I was always accustomed to having. That was a luxury, super luxury, of getting something along those lines, especially in that zone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like the fact that when you make certain aspects of a game harder, you get a lot more enjoyment out of it. And I know some people don't agree. They're just like, I want it easy, super easy. Make it so fast that I can just click a button and immediately zap to the zone that I want to be in, rather than the journey across, huge zones and waste 30, 40 minutes running rather than fighting in the zone that I want to be. But I like the journey. I like the exploration and I don't know if it's romance or whatnot, but it definitely is something that is tangible for some of us out there.
Oh, you see that backstab?
121. Holy crap, dude. Is that the highest?
Flex, motherfucker. Yes.
What is your strength? You got strength buffs or no?
I don't have any buffs. My strength is at 200.
Wow. All right, well. 121, dude. That's crazy.
Actually, my strength, if I were to get this on here, I could go to 212.
Because I see your piercing for the first two underneath that was 11 points and 20. So for you to get 121, that's like 5 or 6 of your normal attacks in one. That's pretty nice.
And this is still, so I still have a damage cap at this level.
What does that get taken off? I think it's 20-something.
20, your damage cap gets raised. I think it comes off completely either at 30 or 40. I honestly can't remember.
I'm kind of glad they did that to a certain extent. This game definitely wasn't something that limited your ability to twink your character out. I know with like
No.
EverQuest 2, they started putting level requirements on pretty much every piece of armor that dropped, so you couldn't have a level 1 using like level 90 stuff that you would get from a dungeon.
They did it in EQ1 later on too.
See, that's kind of sucks. They did have like the weapon procs, but you could still use the weapon itself.
Yeah, so in the regular EverQuest, I want to say it was when Shadows of Luckland dropped. You started getting, either recommended levels or true hard required levels. There's some items in Velius that have required levels as well.
It's kind of weird because I grew up playing RPG games on like the Nintendo and the computer, and none of those ever had hard levels. Even though they were D&D, if you could get that piece of armor, you might have like a requirement of strength or stamina or agility. But if you put your points into that, you could have a super epic strong axe. You just couldn't wear any armor because you didn't put any points into whatever requirement for the armor was. So you made that sacrifice so that you could have the hits. But it was your choice. Like, you could make that decision.
Like, I like the recommended levels, like in EverQuest, regular EverQuest, when they did the revamp over in Droga, there was a copper hammer of smiting or something like that. I can't remember what it's called specifically.
Right.
It was great for monks and like beast lords and stuff like that specifically, because it had a nice proc on it and it was great damage. It had a recommended level though of like 40 something. So what it was at level 1, the stats on it were lower than it will be once you actually level, and it levels with you basically.
Yeah, they did that on EverQuest 2 as well, but
I like that idea a little bit.
That seems to be more of a stack almost requirement. Whereas if you only have so much strength, you can use the weapon, but you're not getting its full effect because you're just not strong enough to swing it as hard. That makes a little bit more sense.
I like it. I think it's pretty cool because the weapon, you can get a good weapon and it'll grow with you. It's basically almost doing the same thing as damage caps does anyways. But if it has stats on it, you don't get the full effects until you're the required level.
Right. Oh, none of the stats, no strength, no stamina at all.
You get some. Oh,
okay. So at least
like
you get
it'll all be one. One strength until level 10. That's when you hit the next tier or whatever the case was. I can't remember how they actually did it, but I kind of liked it.
That's a little bit better. I mean, because then you could still use the piece. If you're dead set on using that item, you're able to do that. But it's not stopping you and saying you're just that's going to be unacceptable in our book.
Because even with the squished numbers, I guess you could call it, it was still an awesome weapon.
Oh yeah, probably better than anything else at that level range.
And it looked cool.
But one thing I have seen with items that are level requirements, normally it just forces players to level faster, just so they can use that piece because they know that's what they're building towards, instead of enjoying the trip there. And I think game companies need to get it in their head. This is my personal opinion, but I think they really need to get it in their head to slow down the trip to max level, because once a game gets most of its population to max level, there's not a lot of room for it to go anywhere else, and then it just becomes a race to create more download content or more expansions for high-end zones, and the people at the lower end tend to get left out, and you don't get to go back and fix mistakes or bugs or errors that you ran into with your original coding and program and zones. I think you kind of, if you were leveling slower, if it took a year and a half, 2 years for people to get to max level, you'd have that time. You'd have more time to come out with a epic expansion like EverQuest used to do, where when they came out with something, it was like a whole nother continent. And multiple zones, low-level zones, high-level zones, mid-level zones, the full range of those. And like with EverQuest, the last few expansions that I can remember playing were all geared towards high level. That's it. There was no low level stuff in that zones, in that content.
Yeah, it really is a double-bladed sword. I mean, double-edged sword, because you're trying to please two totally different types of gameplay, as far as people. You have the true casuals where they like to explore. They like to And by casual, I don't mean as far as how much time you invest versus in-game kind of stuff. You know, raiding and getting those pixels, that loot, and then you have people that flat out explore.
But I think you can appease both of them, because EverQuest did. When they came out with Velius, there's mid-range zones, there's some low-level content in there, and then there's some really good high-level content in there. But they didn't up the level range to the point where it just became so ridiculous. It was a race to get those extra 5 levels. In fact, they slowed it down, because getting from level 50 to level 60 is almost like doing level 1 to level 50 in the amount of experience you need.
The amount of experience needed, yeah, it's freaking crazy. Right. Those double hells it's nasty.
And I think they should do that on all, MMOs. Slow that down, make it where even hardcore players, in the sense that they're playing every day for 12, 14, 15 hours, if you're playing like that, it may take you a month to get that next level. So the super filthy casual may be stuck at one level for maybe 6 or 7 months. That is a large price to pay, but if you create enough content, they're never bored. There's always places for them to go. And they really probably will feel, overjoyed and jubilee when they finally get that level. It will mean a lot more to them.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. I don't want to create the videos too long, and I'm hoping I got enough space that this one won't be corrupted. But definitely want to thank all of you guys out there for watching. As always, guys, I'm AC Gamer.
Chupacabra.
And we will definitely catch you next time.
Subscribe.
Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future. So if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention, and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.